The State Farm Insurance Company wants to teach kindergartners to be transgender, which you probably know by now is a catch-all term for dozens of different supposed genders, including no gender. Some concerned normal employees leaked internal emails which read, quote, State Farm is partnering with the Gender Cool Project, another leftist grooming organization, to help diversify classroom, community center, and library bookshelves with a collection of books to help bring clarity and understanding to the national conversation about being transgender, inclusive, and gender non-binary. The project's goal is to increase representation of LGBTQ+ books and support our communities in having challenging, important, and empowering conversations with children ages 5 and up. The consumer research organization, which I'd never heard of, but appears that they're doing some fantastic work, obtained the emails and then put out this powerful PSA.
State Farm tells us they're a good neighbor. But would a good neighbor target 5-year-olds for conversations about sexual identity? That's what State Farm's doing. Asking employees to donate guides to being transgender to public schools. Books aimed at making kindergartners question their identity. It's textbook indoctrination. These books don't belong in elementary schools, and State Farm shouldn't be putting them there. Like a creepy neighbor, State Farm is there.
Most people think that the left indoctrinating children with gender-bending propaganda is something new, but in fact, they've been doing it for over a decade, and for just as long, I've been denouncing it and exposing it here on YouTube. Most of my old reports have been lost to history or dumped down the memory hole, but if you doubt me, my book, The New World Order Facts and Fiction, which was published in 2010, 12 years ago, has a subsection exposing their plan and some of the books that were published back then with the goal of indoctrinating the next generation, which obviously they've done. Sadly, most conservatives, Christians, churches, and pastors have been too afraid to say anything about it because they didn't want to be called homophobic, so the leftist agenda continued to march right along, and now, as you saw in the Week to Disney Zoom meetings, the executives are planning on having half of the characters in future films be gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender. Oh, and they're releasing a new LGBT kids clothing line too, in case you haven't heard. And now there's a slew of gender-bending books on Amazon and in Barnes & Noble, like Jacob's New Dress, which is about a young boy who decides that he just wants to wear a dress to school because he thinks it's cool. He's not even transgender, he's just a boy who wants to wear a dress, and he's amazing. Have you ever heard any conservatives push back against books like Santa's Husband, the children's themed book about Santa supposedly being gay and having a black husband? Something you've probably seen me widely denounce every Christmas since 2017 when the book first came out. Of course, CNN gave it glowing reviews and interviewed the authors about this fresh new twist on the classic holiday tale. When ABC's Good Morning America featured Desmond is Amazing, the, at the time, preteen drag kid, did conservative leaders like Sean Hannity or Mark Levin push back against it or say it was wrong? Of course not. Here's Matt Schlapp, the chairman of CPAC, the leader of conservatism in America, being asked a real question on a Catholic network called Church Militant that he's not used to being asked on Fox News because they don't want to be called homophobic by the Democrats.
Just yes or no. Should gay men be allowed to adopt young boys?
Oh boy, you know, I don't even know what does our church fight those positions, and I don't know what the policy position is of the church.
Well, the first if you call it policy, the teaching of the church is the two men shouldn't be together to begin with.
Yeah, I know what the church teaches in terms of sexual ethics.
Right.
But I don't know what it teaches in terms. I don't know what it lobbies for in these legislative chambers.
I don't know. I've never read the Bible, and I don't have any common sense about what the proper environment is for raising children, and I certainly don't want to be called homophobic, so please don't ask me those kinds of important questions. He claims to be a Catholic, not just a conservative, a Catholic, but still, he just doesn't know. I would quote some scripture right now, but unfortunately the Bible has been deemed hate speech in the New World Order. Not just the Old Testament, like Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13, which you can go and look up yourself, but also in the New Testament, like Romans chapter 1, verse 27, or 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9. I'm so tired of the cowardly Christians whose weakness let the left push our culture off the cliff. So it's time to go ultra MAGA, because we're finally making some progress in the culture war, and people are starting to wake up and stand up. Some corporations are realizing that they've let wokeness and their woke employees almost ruin their businesses, and the Democrat Party is in shambles right now, so now is the time. Here's MSNBC on their hilarious failure of coining the term Ultra MAGA.
Yeah, it's bizarre because when it comes to calling out Republicans, you've got these kind of, cutesy names being used by Democrats. Apparently Democratic polling groups and focus groups spent months coming up with Ultra MAGA, which Joe Biden started using, but immediately the Republican Party just borrowed and started selling merch. And, Donald Trump likes the idea of being Ultra MAGA.
Yes, I am selling merch, and I think it's the best political slogan since Make America Great Again. In fact, it might even be better. So order your Ultra MAGA shirt from my online store at markdice.com or click the link in the description below. And like all of my designs, it's available on a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check it out.
I will tell you is the president's phrase, and the president it's made those comments himself just last week, as you know.
The Ultra MAGA plan.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.